Hey guys, Mr. Happy here with a video that is long overdue. Since Hildibrand was added to the game in 2.1, we've been enjoying his side story shenanigans for a while now. However, I only posted what happened in the 2.1 aspect of his story because I figured it was something that players would generally not skip over and go watch on YouTube. However, despite that, people have been asking me when I'm doing the video about him. So, in this video, we will cover what has been happening with our dear Manderville man in patch 2.2 and 2.3, as well as briefly discuss what we can expect in patch 2.4. So our adventures with Hildibrand begin from 2.1 with him searching for the thieving duelist in 2.2. Ellie, the reporter from the first part, is going to be present for pretty much the rest of the story from here on out. In his search, he finds his way to Dorilda of Vesper Bay, a woman with a fine taste for historical artifacts. Seeking to prevent her treaty blade from being stolen en route to her home, Hildibrand shows up and offers his service. At the same time, a rival inspector, Briarden, shows up. Similar to Hildibrand, he simply loves the thrill of solving a case, although he is a bit more qualified to solve them than Hildibrand. The two show profound distaste for one another before Dorilda's daughter, Maria, shows up. She was meant to have a vase with her, but a flying monster scared her into dropping the vase into Nothica's wells. Hildibrand, Nashu, Maria, and the adventurer head down into the well in search for it. While searching in the wells, they find a man dressed in red at the bottom searching for his spear. He accidentally broke the vase apparently, to which Hildibrand explains he has a solution for fixing it. The man introduces himself as Gilgamesh, though Hildibrand prefers to call him Greg, and his pet rooster as Enkidu before helping gather what pieces they can find. With these in hand, they head off to northern Thanalan and search for the greatest goldsmith that ever lived. Hearing he is also a dangerous foe, Gilgamesh decides to travel with them while he searches for his weapon. Both a master craftsman and a deadly foe, Hildibrand determines he must be nearby when they find the goldsmith hammers lodged into a dead chimera. He says the only way to draw the goldsmith out is to do a very specific dance, the Manderville. Too out of practice and out of shape, he bids the adventurer does it. This draws the attention of the master craftsman Godbert, who after a hilarious chase scene is explained to be Hildibrand's father, whom he has not seen in 10 years. Godbert agrees to fix the vase and does so. However, he goes another step further and turns it into his own masterpiece, destroying its historical value. Regardless, the group returns to Vesper Bay in hopes Dorilda won't be too angry. Dorilda is infuriated at the now historically inaccurate vase until Godbert himself shows up and explains that it was his work. Not only is that explained, but it's also said that he is a respected member of the Syndicate, the 6 most influential figures in Ul'dah. Finding out he crafted the vase, she praises it instead, and gives Hildibrand her blessing to accompany Briarden in the transport of her treaty blade. While in the observatorium in Coerthus, Hildibrand and Nashu are searching for anything suspicious while Gilgamesh chases a bird he thinks stole his spear. At the same time, Nashu finds a spear in the snow, which Hildibrand claims is the same spear he launched himself into Dalamud with 5 years ago, before the group heads to the East Gate to look for more suspicious activity. While there, Gilgamesh explains his spear to be none other than Bradamante, the spear of Nail Van Darnus and the very spear that Nashu just found. Gilgamesh attempts to steal the spear before Briarden and men show up. He confesses to earning all of his weapons by dueling his opponents, with the victor taking the spoils, thus making him the thieving duelist. He runs for Griffin Crossing, an impassable bridge that is quite big. It is here that Gilgamesh challenges the adventurer and any allies he so chooses to bring to a duel. The victor takes the other's weapon. The adventurer and friends defeat Gilgamesh after he discovers the spear he stole was nothing but a fake, and has nowhere close to the power of the real Bradamante. He flees with Enkidu, saying this will not be the last time we see him. With the duelist now defeated, the treaty blade can begin its transport. Upon returning to Vesper Bay and handing the treaty blade off to Dorilda, she appears again. The thief had disguised himself as her and stolen the blade. It turns out Gilgamesh was not the thief that threatened to take the blade, and as such, the majority of their efforts had been wasted. A new challenge arrives with the thief claiming he shall come to claim the Lapis Maiden's virtue. Hildibrand declares for the audience that he shall catch this thief just before Briarden can, causing him to chase Hildibrand around in anger. The end scene causes those watching to laugh before the next scenario is teased, which we will discuss now. After some time, Ellie declares that she has found who the Lapis Maiden is. Her name is Arabella, and she is the daughter of an Ul'dah trader, Gugurimu. She is set to marry Vons, the son of a prestigious Lominsan trader. She travels to Costa del Sol in pursuit of this story. Inspector Briarden finds his way there as well, determined to catch the thief that has so far eluded him. He also notices Hildibrand has made it to Costa del Sol before him and had begun talking with the locals. Briarden assists Hildibrand in his investigation and says the thief is likely already among them, able to take on the face of anyone there. It doesn't take much searching around before they find out that one of Gugurimu's men, the Brass Blades, went missing. They find him tied up with no clothes and find that he was sent to guard 3 different men, Lewenhart, Yalto Nalto, and Morgant, to which Briarden is now convinced that one of those 3 men is likely the thief. Hildibrand and the adventurer ask these 3 men questions in hopes of finding something suspicious about them, only to discover nothing out of the ordinary while Nashu keeps track of everything of their investigation in her notepad. Seeking more information, Hildibrand inspects several crates of foodstuffs, looking for inconsistencies in Lewenhart's story, and for some reason finds several bombs left by Nashu mixed in. Before they can move the bombs elsewhere, Briarden shows up. Ellie and the adventurer try to keep him away from the crates to no avail. He attempts to explain what he has discovered while Ellie tries to lure him away from the crates still, saying it's a bit chilly. He finds a piece of driftwood left by Nashu and starts a fire, only a few feet away from the bombs. At this time, the wind blows and some of Nashu's pages of her journal fly in front of Briarden. He sees them as potential challenges from the thief and sees that among them is a threat upon his life, though it is no more than poor grammar of Nashu. This causes him to fall over frightened and throws the flaming driftwood into the air. Ellie pushes him out of the way while the driftwood lands on Hildibrand's head, preventing the explosion, until Nashu sneezes and it falls over and blows Hildibrand and the food crates up. This infuriates Gugurimu and worries Lewenhart, who said that most of those supplies were stolen by a group of vegetable thieves known as the Mandragoras. Some of these vegetables are quite rare, including some purple dragon peppers. The adventurer and Hildibrand volunteer to get them back from the Mandragoras. Their trip takes them to the Isles of Umbra to stop the Mandragoras from growing a plant army to overthrow humanity. In their search for the crates, the Mandragoras team up and attempt to overwhelm the adventurer, only to be defeated after a long battle. With food crates in hand, the 2 return to Costa del Sol, only to find that the peppers were actually blue and not purple. Briarden quickly realizes Lewenhart is the Phantom Thief, and that he thought that they were purple since he looked at them through the red goggles of the Brass Blade that they found earlier. They chase him, only to find the real Lewenhart passed out by the beach with no recollection of what was going on. He remembers a few things, such as fighting off a Brass Blade sent to guard him, even stabbing him in the hand before being knocked out. This reveals that the fake Lewenhart was wearing gloves to cover up the injury, and that whoever was fake would likely be wearing gloves as well. While the group comes up with a plan, the thief enlists the aid of the Mandragoras and tells them to wait in hiding at the banquet until he calls for them. After tracking down Arabella and getting her to disguise herself as a common person, the banquet ensues. Briarden is unable to properly search the hands of all who are attending, and with Hildibrand nowhere in sight to distract everyone, it seems hopeless. However, as the representatives of the banquet begin introducing the bride and groom, something seems amiss. Instead of Arabella walking down the aisle, it is Hildibrand in her dress. This causes an uproar and reveals nothing about the thief. That is, until Briarden notices Vons is wearing gloves. Sure enough, Vons steals Arabella's necklace and reveals himself to be the thief. While everyone attempts to stop his escape, the thief calls upon the Mandragoras as a distraction. They are, however, horrified upon seeing the cross-dressing Hildibrand, and as he offers them a kiss, scares them off. At the same time, the thief does manage to elude the Brass Blades. They find out that Arabella's necklace was actually named Azima's Virtue, as she thanked Hildibrand, teaching her a lesson about love. As Briarden deduces that they should read the next challenge more carefully, he and Hildibrand anticipate its arrival. They manage to avoid it to the dismay of one of the Mandragoras. However, it was only a decoy and the real one hits Hildibrand in the back of the head. The true message reads, "When we next meet, I shall come to claim the victor's spoils." The inspector takes up this challenge and swears to overcome him the next time they meet. Alright, well, now the story is done and told, at least until 2.4, and just like after the story for 2.1, 2.2, and 2.3, we do get a teaser for what's to come in patch 2.4, and let me tell you, it's a Final Fantasy fan's dream team. Not only does Gilgamesh appear in the teaser, but it also shows off Ultros, one of the most cherished mascots of the Final Fantasy series, originating in Final Fantasy VI. All of this not only hints at the potential for a Gilgamesh extreme fight with him possessing 8 arms as seen in this image, as well as a potential fight against not only Ultros, but Typhoon as well. Ultros and Typhoon are like a tag team of awesome. And with the Final Fantasy XIV A Realm Reborn Collector's Edition came an art book with art for Typhoon in it. We all wondered where we're going to encounter him, and that we all assumed, hey, we're going to get Ultros at the time. Some people thought it was going to be Hullbreaker Isle when they said it would be a familiar Kraken. However, I think it wouldn't surprise any of us to see that Ultros and Typhoon are likely going to be making their debut in patch 2.4 in the Hildibrand questline as a fight probably akin to the original Gilgamesh fight, being mostly for fun. It seems we aren't too far from that answer now, so I cannot wait for patch 2.4 Hildibrand quest. Hopefully you're looking forward to them too. Be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, and share for more Final Fantasy XIV videos, lore, guides, whatever. I got it. Just check out the rest of my channel. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and until next time, take care.